We see a lot happening in the world today with technology, and technology is great, but what matters most is the underlying core of people and how you work with people. And a company that's doing that very well is Alibaba and Alibaba.com, which is the first business group within there. And joining us right now for that, to find out about it, is Kuo Zhang. He is the general manager there, and he joins us right here at CES. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Well, you have done a lot with technology and putting operations together for Alibaba. And what you have done is started with a philosophy of connecting with people in a B2B environment. Tell us a little bit about what Alibaba.com is doing and how that's facilitating business for small and medium-sized enterprises.
Yeah, sure. I can give a quick introduction about this business. Actually, Alibaba.com is the first business that built by Alibaba Group, and it's founded by Jack Ma. And Alibaba.com now is the biggest B2B platform. We have more than 10 millions of active buyers here, and we're about 115,000 of suppliers all over the world, not only in China, but also in US, Europe, and South Asia. So we are building a platform to make sure the business people and the business people can do the trading together. And now we are doing from sourcing to trading. And that requires a lot of technology. For example, the first example is that how we can enable the people to communicate right. This was the first point you mentioned. So whenever a businessman, like a supplier, posts a product, it may post it in English to describe about their product functionalities and the specs. And then we translate that to another 16 languages. So the people all over the world from 200 countries can understand what he's doing. And then there's just two business people need to sit together and to discuss, to have more conversations to make sure the contracts are right. And then we'll bring the lifetime translations for them. So when the business people talk to people, the first of all is that they need to understand each other, what they are talking about, kind of a human familiar way, of human friendly way. Yeah. And also it should be in a business scenarios. So every word should be accurate to make sure that they can understand each other and form up the contract. And that conversation can be back and forth. And since it's a B2B environment, that we can focusing on how we can get this business translation right for different languages.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm really fascinated with what you're doing, as you and I were talking about this before, it's almost like Star Trek. It's like science fiction that you are doing, where you can talk into a screen in one language, like I can use English, and Mandarin is your native language, so you could then listen to it and do it. By the way, you're doing very well in English too. And we can translate back and forth. Tell us a little bit about that and the technology behind that, which is almost like literally something out of Star Trek.
Yeah. So we can share a few fundings that we are doing this kind of technology. So first of all, so when we're doing this, is not only we are getting the people to understand each other, but also we need to consider a few things. So first, when you translate the product, it's not only human friendly, it also need to be translated for the search engines, so they can index right and it can be searched all over the world.
Ooh, that's a good point, what he just said. You don't do it just for the humans, but for the search engines. That is brilliant.
Yeah. And second of all is this kind of business area. So when we are talking about the business area, it helps us to reduce a lot of noises. For example, the AI in consumer sense, that you need to reduce the noise from the television, from the background noise. Actually, it's a B2B conversation. We can focus 100% on the content itself, and how we can make the contract right, how the people each other can understand each other. And we did a calculation. So if we do the translation, if it's by human resources, so for every day, what Alibaba's translations amount of work is cost about 1,000 of man-year every day, since it's billions of APIs requests for translation for both the conversations and both the product information. Right, so human friendly and search engine friendly, and we need to make the kind of business context correct, and it can be a contract for each other to form up. So this is a very important thing, that we make this kind of business scenario AI right. And for the AI, my personal opinion is that we need to find the specific area which makes sense and have business value in it. And now we think that in the B2B world, this is a perfect world for way to train the AI algorithm. And every day, there's millions of business people talking with each other. And that's bringing all the data that we can update the algorithm day by day.
I love it. One of the things that you talked about that I was really impressed with was the vision of your boss, Jack Ma, who is head of Alibaba, and what he's doing. He sees businesses and around the world in many different countries connecting. To me, that seems one of the most high goals that we can have. It brings about peace. It brings about better lifestyle for everyone. Tell us a little bit about that principle and those concepts that he has that are in Alibaba as well as Alibaba.com.
Yeah, sure. So actually, the philosophy for Alibaba from day one is to make the business easier for everybody, anytime, anywhere. So it's not only for Alibaba.com, it's for all the BUs in Alibaba. So how we can help the SMEs to help them to lower the barrier, and they can get more opportunities, and then we can bring more technology to help their business in daily essence. I can give you an example. This is my first time to CES. And being here is collaborating with CTA together. So think about the CTA, actually, it is a B2B environment. So all the people in this CES conference is both businessmen, right? It's a B2B. Either it's a media or it's kind of businessman who would like to understand the trends.
That's the Consumer Technology Association, CTA.
Yeah, that's right. And what we see, we are the same, is that now this year we are working as a platform with CTA together to enable the SMEs. So we co-developed the design and sourcing hall. There's about 700 of different entrepreneurs and SMEs all over the world, from China and all over the world, actually. And we are setting up the platform together. And so not only we extend the functionality of CES, it's not only meet together, and also they can trade and work together. Mm-hmm. And also we give them opportunities to not only meet the people in this exhibition, and also they can meet the people online. We bring their content digitalized, and they can meet their buyers all over the world. So this is what they do. And all the digitalized content can be there not only for 3 or 4 days, they can be there for 365 days a year. So this is what we are working together, how to bring the innovation together and how to get the business people to working together.
I love that. What you're doing there is great. And those of you watching this, think about that. We get together with meetings. I'm in the meetings industry, have done that for many, many years, and it's really good to get together with people. And now what Alibaba.com is doing is not only getting together with meetings, but also sitting down and seriously focusing on doing business and trade. That is remarkable. It's wonderful, and really taking it to the next step. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, sure. So at the beginning, actually, we are doing how to make the information online for the people to getting to know each other. And now we are not only doing the sourcing, but also from the sourcing to trading. It's a global buy, global sell platform. And by doing that, actually, we are not only bringing the information together, we are setting the infrastructures as well. The infrastructures for them to pay, you need to a payment service network. And also along with the payment is the financing for the buyers and the seller side. And when you need to get the delivery right on time with good quality, you need to have a logistics network. It's not only by air and also by the shipment over the sea as well. Mm-hmm. And also you need to, when you're talking about the kind of collaboration or trading across border, there are 4 to 5 parties. It's buyer, supplier, the platform, and the government together. Right? When you export from China, you need to deal with the China government. And import to US, you need to work with the US government. And how we can get all this process digitalized and streamlined, this is very important for their efficiency. And whenever we set up the infrastructure, all these services through the infrastructure is the data. And the data can be the credit for the SMEs, for the entrepreneurs all over the world. Mm-hmm. So when a buyer, for example, in US or in Europe, see a seller in North Asia, North America, or in South Asia. So the first important thing is they get the information right, and then comes the trust. So how they can trust each other to lower the barrier and to do the business. So what we do here is that set up the infrastructure right, so they can do the business very efficient. And all the data that they trade with each other can be their credit and can be used in the business along the way.
Yeah, I like that. And you're able to use and work with Alibaba as the source, a one-stop shop, if you will. So everything from that sourcing all the way to the trading can be taken care of. Now, one of the things we talked about, and I love your perspective on this, was using blockchain. And we see blockchain being used a lot in many different areas. And you have some unique ideas on how that will work and how you put it together. Tell us a little bit about what you have in mind for Alibaba.
Yeah, so as we said, so resolve the problem of information. Lack of information is the first step. And the second step is that we need to get people to work together. And with more data, they can get trust. So the second step is that we need to digitalize all this informations and bring it online. And that data actually can help them to find the next sourcing partner or figure out the trend. And then we need to think about how we can make this network more reliable and more security. And I think blockchain is coming along the way. So this is a step-by-step approach.
Yeah, I like that because blockchain, we know we have much greater security on that and being able to use that. Where do you stand with that? Is it being used right now, or do you see that as something that will become later?
Yeah, I think at this stage, time, what we do is we are 100% is focusing on how to digitalize all this process. So when you're talking about you are trading with all this kind of paper document, there's no way that you can go to the blockchain, right? So when you're doing the payment, the logistics, all the custom clearance, all this foreign exchange, this tax refund, all this can be digitalized. Then we can talk about how we can leverage the technology to make it more reliable and more secure. I think that's a step-by-step approach.
Yeah, I like that. Those of you watching this, listen to what he just said. This is profound. You want to digitize it first, figure out how to do that, and get the ideas down. Then bring it in. Too often we want to jump on a new technology thinking, hey, we can use that right away. You got to go through it in the right way, the right processes, and this genius is doing it. This is the way to do it. Well, when we look toward the future, before we let you go, I want to find out, what do you see coming for, not only for Alibaba, but for the world working together in more business for the future? What do you see?
Yeah, as we said in the beginning, the EWTP is defined.
Tell us what EWTP.
Yeah, EWTP is an electronic worldwide trading platform. It's a dream that we can get all the SMEs and entrepreneurs together to global buy, global sell, and this requires a lot. And B2B business actually is a part of the EWTP idea. And we actually set up the infrastructure from China to foreign countries in the beginning, and now we are kind of deploying the infrastructure for each and every countries, like in Malaysia. So we set up the infrastructures, and we're integrating with Malaysia's custom, logistics, and their banking system and the foreign exchange to make sure the Malaysia SME and suppliers can share the same infrastructure and can do the global trading very efficient. And actually, we are doing it all over the world to make sure in every country, their SMEs can have a better infrastructure, can have a better understanding of internet, and they are kind of familiar with how to do the business in internet. And now the entire world can share the same data, the same credit, and the same merit that the global trading is making. We are seeing that the phenomenon as global trading is growing very fast. And what we see is that the more and more buyers, so actually comparing to last year, the active buyers number is growing 50% year to year.
50% year to year.
Yeah. And the kind of trading, we can see the trend that the trading is become more fragmented, and the trading partners actually is getting younger and younger. When I do some research, it's about 90% of the trading partners is now born after 1980s.
Wow, 90% born after the 1980s.
Yeah, and actually they are more familiar and kind of more easy to embrace all the technologies all over the world, right? And the trading is more fragmented, and the people are younger, and they are familiar with all the internet technologies. So it's easier for more people to get involved in this kind of global trading. That's we see the buyer from their number perspective is 50% growth. And from the transactions, we can see that the transaction order is from, for example, a yearly booked big order into a more fragmented, small but more frequent orders. So like you are booking order for several containers a year ahead, and then you put the product on the shelf. Now we see that so within 15 days or a month, you kind of repeat orders according to the demand of the market. That is what we see. So now the problem we are solving is not one company with thousands of suppliers. It's millions of companies with hundreds of thousands of suppliers, and there's millions of transactions between these two parties. And we need to make every transaction reliable, transparent, and secure. So this is the new world problem that we need to solve.
You sound like a motivational speaker. You give us a very optimistic view of the future. We really appreciate that. Thank you for what you're doing at Alibaba, and you're helping many people to practically make money, to achieve their goals, and we appreciate what you're doing. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Yeah, and welcome more parties, more partners to join Alibaba.com, and it's open to the world. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us today.